All right, today I want to talk about building a business while growing a family. I think one of the things that I've been really challenged with during my time at Intentional is getting that balance right. And people talk a lot about work-life balance and how you should kind of manage that. I've had 2 years of running a business before kids and now coming up to almost 3, all of us 3 in November with kids. And I think over that time, I've really learned that the secret to doing it well in terms of building the business and growing a healthy family, it's actually really quite easy. It's quite simple to do, but it's what makes it so hard. And I really think it comes down to 2 things. Firstly, I think it's consistency. And secondly, I think it's your clarity and communication. I think if you can do those 2 things well, you can build a business and grow a healthy family. And I think regardless if you're building a business, if you're just trying to establish and grow your career, and even if you don't necessarily have a family, but you've got some kind of home life relationship to manage, I think both of these things are still completely applicable. So what I mean by consistencies in the early days of running a service business, I really probably took on board that idea of service and servitude maybe a little bit too much. I know a lot of matured service businesses sort of talk about the same thing in the fact that you start almost feeling like you're a freelancer or contractor. And so though while you are under the umbrella of agency, you operate very much like, man, I better do everything possible to please this client. And so your consistency of service is all over the place. And that generally means your working hours all over the place as well. So evenings after dinner are up for grabs. Weekends are definitely, public holidays are almost the greatest gift known to a freelancer or someone kicking off a service-based business, because you get a full 8 hours, especially on those national public holidays, to kick things off and get things going without being interrupted by emails. So in the early days, very much I fell into that same trap of trying to over deliver, and that consistency, it didn't really come up. I've got a very, very understanding wife in Amanda. She's amazing. I don't think I could have grown Intentional. I know I couldn't have grown Intentional without her and her support. And I think when it really did came to a head was once we had kids, and that consistency angle, because it wasn't regular. Yeah, who knows what weeknight I may have worked late. So Amanda may have been thinking we were going to go out, or maybe she was thinking I was going to work or whatever it is. And then it would be the surprise text message or after dinner, hey, I'm going to jump online. And that really kills things. I think even before having kids, but really for us, it came to a head after having kids in terms of you need to provide that consistency. So holding to working hours and staying true to those. That means it puts more pressure on how you manage your time. And I'll share a little bit more about that in another video, but really having that consistent time. So is it that you're going to start early so you can finish on time, or are you going to have the morning with the kids and the family and then you're going to finish later? It's just really making sure you have that. Again, Saturdays and public holidays, my default is to use them as a backup. All right, if I don't get everything done, but I've learned that I really need to be clear at the start of the week if I am going to work on a Saturday, which I still, to be honest, absolutely love, maybe doing once a month just to get a clear run at tasks, to just communicate that clearly. And that's the second point, is while you want to be consistent as possible, in running a business, there's clearly things that come up that mean sometimes that you can't be as consistent as you like. And that's the same as family life. And so for me, the reason I'm recording this one today is because I definitely had one of those experiences last night where both kids decided to be waking up every hour each side of each other. So it meant a later start today. Plus today, there's a special Father's Day afternoon tea at Oliver's childcare that I'm going to get along to. So it means my regular Thursday hours I'm going to have to change, but it's clearly communicating that to the team. And the expectations that I've got for that day. And the same, if I'm going to work a Saturday, or if I'm going to work a public holiday, or if I am going to be later, to communicate that clearly. I think the biggest mistake I've made in the early years was trying to please both. So I wanted to do my very best to build the business, and I wanted to do my very, very best to grow a healthy family. But in doing that, in trying to prioritize both at the same time and not having clear boundaries and not being consistent, I was therefore not communicating clearly, and that would create tensions. I think there's nothing that's harder for someone than, if Amanda's planning an activity for us as a family, or there's, birthday parties on, or if there's things that, you're expecting, and then all of a sudden at the last minute, I can no longer attend or won't attend. And vice versa at work. If you're ducking in and out all the time, you're not providing that consistent clarity in what you're doing. So the idea of consistency and clarity of communication have been big pillars for me. And I'm going to share some more about why consistency matters in some other videos too. It's actually a core reason as to why I'm recording these 100, and also clarity of message and communication I'll talk more about. But to me, if you can get those two things right, you can absolutely grow a fantastic, healthy family, relationships, as well as building a business at the same time. You just need to be consistent and have that clarity of message.